Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, whatever place it is you're tuned onto the Life Signatures Radio. This is a daily show on the subjects of purpose, productivity, and resilience. Your life is measured, or your life at least has those three facets. If you're going to be the successful person that you want to be, you've got to be a person of purpose. You've got to be a person who has direction. Your life has goals, it has vision, it has mission, it has a direction that you're taking, and it's the direction that you love. You are born to do it. You know your calling. And then of course you've got to be productive. That means you've got to hard work, produce. Man was meant to produce. The reason we exist as human beings is to be productive. Nothing above that, nothing higher than that. And then finally, we're living in a black fallen world, therefore we need to be resilient. And that's why I talk about purpose, productivity, and resilience. We are in the middle of a series where we're talking about raising spirit-led children. Today we're going to continue talking about that subject matter, and it's going to be a bit of a while before we can close it. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Life Signatures podcast with Lawrence Namale. Lawrence is a life coach, author, and keynote speaker who loves to tackle different topics on purpose, productivity, and resilience. His mission in life is to awaken all your boundless possibilities available in you. Life Signatures podcast is dedicated to bring to reality every single person who knows that deep down in their gut, there's got to be more to life than this. And now, here is your host, Lawrence Namale.
So after taking some time to establish the essence of what this spirit is all about, what I've been talking about in all these previous episodes, we learned that there are three things you can be able to do to deal with the spirit. You can access the spirit, or you can what can you do? This is what you can do. These are three things you can do with the spirit that is within you, or the spirit that is within your child. Number one, you can nurture it. And that's probably what we need to talk about. I just brushed through it, but you can nurture this. Okay? Someone might ask, how in the world am I going to do this? I'm going to be talking about that in the episodes that are going to follow. But the second thing that we do a lot, and I don't need to teach you how to do this, is we can ignore the spirit. Okay? We can ignore the spirit because we already have a template that we've put these people in, and they're supposed to follow that template faithfully. Therefore, we ignore. We ignore because we have a template, and we ignore because we're also ignorant of the fact that everyone has a spirit. We think that everyone came here tabula rasa with nothing in them. It's just a blank slate. No. People came with dispositions. People came with a heart. People came with energy inside of them. That's why some people are predisposed towards some things and others are not. That is where the spirit operates. And thirdly, what can you do? You can distort. And we see this a lot. We see violence being meted out on children, and you find that the spirit that was inside of them, the sensitive spirit that was inside of them, it is pushed way back to the recesses, or it's totally messed up. Those are the three things you can be able to do with the spirit. You can nurture, ignore, or you can distort. But let's talk about nurturing. Maybe from today, let's just go in there and start talking about nurturing. I'm sure we are all interested in how we can nurture the spirit. And I'm sure people are asking, how am I going to do this? Okay, you're telling us that every child has a spirit inside of them, and children are supposed to be taught to be spirit-led. How in the world are we going to do that? I'm glad you asked. A few years ago, I developed a manuscript that I've never published, and it's still available. It's still titled Permission for Greatness. I changed it and I called it, and this is why I didn't publish it actually. I called it Nurturing the Inner Game of Your Child, or Raising the Inner Game of Your Child. I edited that manuscript towards that new title, and I really loved it, and I wanted to publish it, and I hadn't backed it up, and someone stole my laptop, and I just got so discouraged with the kind of work that I put in there. I just forgot about it, and it's like 4 years now down the line. But anyway, the premise behind that particular book is that if you nurture the spirit of a child, you will be giving them the authority to be as great as they were meant and intended to be when they came here on earth. That is the essence behind that book, but I don't want to talk about that book. I digress. See, you are not raising a spirit-led child if you do some of the following things that I'm going to talk about from today. But we've got to understand that in the next several episodes, we shall look at 7 or so ways in which we can raise spirit-led children. And today, we can talk about the nurturing part. Now, listen to this. It is so straightforward, but we forget. It is so straightforward, we know. It is so straightforward, it's not foreign. You don't even need to ask me how you're going to do it. You already know. But listen to this. You are not raising a spirit-led child if you are not teaching them to cherish their inner compass. Okay? And now, the inner compass is something that is so amorphous. Jesus Christ said that someone who is born again is like the wind. You don't know where it comes, where it's going to go. And that's the problem with us as parents, because we want predictability. We want an environment that is so predictable. We know what we expect. We know this is what we are putting in. We are putting in 5 years into this course, and we're getting a degree or getting a diploma or getting a certificate. That's what we know. That's what we want to do. That's what we've seen being done. But before formal education, before education was actually formalized, there was the idea of, trying to cherish the differentness of people. The inner compass is available in everyone's life. But this inner compass is not the same for everybody. It varies from person to person. And it's like the wind. You don't know what it is as a parent. You have no clue what it is. And we can easily spend quite a bit of bucks trying to find out what it is. But the thing is, if we have an open mind from the get-go and we know that there is something about this kid, I don't know what it is, but God must have put something in this child. You are being sensitive to the spirit from the get-go. And they will tell you. They are so innocent, they will tell you what they want. Or you'll actually observe and you will see where they're gravitating towards. Of course, there is always going to be the bias of the environment in which they are being raised. There's going to be the bias of the heroes. Children love heroes. And sometimes these heroes can actually distort their spirit because now they start identifying with those heroes instead of identifying with who they are initially. And that's why you are a parent. The good thing will be that if you start looking and you start seeing, you start having a hint of who these guys are, now you can start bringing heroes who represent that which they have. And let me tell you, they will just take it hook, line, and sinker. But I'm digressing. I'm going. All our lives, we are raised to count and to regard only that which counts. That's why we are not looking at the inner compass. See, Einstein told us something very powerful. He said, not everything that can be counted counts. And not everything that counts can be counted. And this is one of those things that cannot be counted. The inner game, the inner compass, it cannot be counted. You do not know where it comes from. You do not know the quantity. You don't know the measure. But it is there. But you see, the problem with us is that we want to know that which can be counted, that can be felt, that can be measured, that can be rationalized. Unfortunately, matters related to the Spirit are invisible and they are intangible. They cannot be counted. That is to say that though they are not counted and they cannot be measured, it doesn't say that they are not real. They are the realest thing you'll ever see. They are real. Issues of a human spirit are as real as empirical issues. It is just the idea of discernment and knowing what the spiritual is. But we live in an empirical world, so we want to know what things are before we can even go in there. So what is this inner compass? There is such a thing as our inner compass that speaks and directs us, and it directs our steps. And if we only are going to listen, because this inner compass, it is always talking. You normally say, oh, something told me not to take that road and I did not listen. That is the inner compass, okay? Or you have this quiet inside of you that says, this cause, I don't feel it. Some of you who are in marriages that you're regretting, you know for sure there was a serious inner compass that told you this one, nah. But you didn't listen because you're looking at the empirical, you're looking at the roundedness and the curves and the smiles and the complexion, and you went in there. Regardless of what the Spirit told you. What am I communicating? I'm telling you, the inner compass is loud. What we need to learn is to tune into it. But the louder it gets, the more we block it, and the more we block it, the quieter it becomes. What is that causes me to start writing articles or to start doing these blogs and this podcast? It is the inner spirit. What is it that caused me to start this channel? It is the inner spirit. What is it that caused me to even start writing series? Or what is it that caused me to start talking about this particular subject? It is not the empirical. It is the spirit. It is the inner compass. The most unfortunate thing about the inner compass is that it does not give us the full 9 years of the benefits of listening and obeying its voice. It doesn't. It just wants us to obey. And the second most unfortunate thing about the inner compass is that it is so gentle and it cannot force us to listen to it. It cannot force us to take action. It is as gentle as a dove and only getting grieved whenever we don't listen. But it cannot hold us at ransom, cannot put us on a gunpoint. It's a gentle spirit. That inner compass is available in every child. And I'm telling you, as parents, we are doing these children a great disservice if we do not, first of all, recognize that there is an inner compass inside of them. And secondly, if we do not start looking to find out in clarity what that inner compass is. And thirdly, if we are not teaching them also to know that there is an inner compass inside of them and they should lean into it and listen to what it is saying at the earliest of ages, we are doing them a great disservice. You see, the way we are so committed, the way we are so given to the empirical, to the systems, to the templates that we already have, that is the same way we should be given and committed to the matters related to the Spirit. So I've introduced that particular part, the inner compass. How do you nurture your child to be Spirit-led? You teach them to cherish the inner compass, to actually revere. That's the word. To revere the inner compass, because inner compass is not their voice actually. I dare say the inner compass is the voice of the Creator, is the voice of the divine. And it never goes wrong. It's just that we need to understand. Okay, maybe we need to understand that we cannot understand it, but we just need to obey. Of course, when we're trying to do these things, sometimes we can go wrong here and there, but it's okay. It's okay going wrong trying to figure out the inner compass than not to try and figure out the inner compass and actually go wrong at the end of the day. So let us learn to do that. Tomorrow we're going to continue on this particular part of the inner compass. Until then, bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Life Signatures Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, subscribe to Life Signatures Radio on iTunes, Stitcher, or visit our website at lifesignatures.libsyn.com. Life Signatures Radio, fresh, clean, and inspiring.